All right, so welcome to Geometry. Today is May 14th. That little introduction was too overly excited, but I'm excited to be here. Make sure that you have a paper and pencil for notes, even if you're at home watching, if you happen to watch this. And then don't forget that office hours are Wednesdays and Fridays from 2 to 3, just in case you have any questions. Let's do our stress checks on the chat box. Please make type how you're feeling. In a 0 and a 10. Okay, I'm glad it seems like we're all doing all right today. So the objectives for today, we're going to review finding the area of a circle, and then we're going to find the volume of prisms. There's a lot to cover today, so I am going to go kind of quick. I don't expect you to write everything. I actually prefer that you don't write everything because otherwise it does take a lot longer. So I will let you know what you should write. Let's look at this do now. So for the do now for today, I'm just going to quickly go over it. I'm not going to ask you guys for too much feedback because I do rather focus on the lesson for today. Oh, where is my pen? Oh, I need to turn it on first. That would help. All right, so it says, which description of a figure and its image match the transformation described below by x, y? Remember that in front of the x, anytime there's a number, it doesn't tell you if it goes up or down. It actually tells you if it's going to become bigger or smaller. Because it's decimal, it says it's going to be half its size because it's 0.5. So that means that we already know it might either be similar or congruent, but notice that the y says it's going to be moved. So it means that the shape is actually going to change. It's going to be similar, but it's not congruent. Congruent means the exact same, but because of that -4, it actually throws it off a little bit. So we know it's not C, we know it's not D. Now that -4, does it tell you that it's going to be 4 units to the left or 4 units down, and why?
Down.
Okay. So it would be letter B.
B.
All right, so for question 2, that one I changed it. It's not multiple choice anymore. Instead, you have to type in the answer. So for this one, I want you to find the area. Do you guys remember how to find the area of a circle?
Is it base times height?
Not base times height. You're thinking of like the rectangle is length times width, or a triangle is base times height divided by 2. But the area is a little bit different.
Wait, Andy, you gotta find the whole number of 10?
But what's the formula? Do you remember? It's pi. I'll give you guys a hint. It's pi.
Oh, 3.114.
And then r
by 10, right?
Squared. So it's like this. Its area is equal to pi r squared. So then you do what you just said. You take the 3.14, the 3.14, and then what's the radius?
10 feet.
10, good, 10 feet. And then you put squared. So what does 10 squared mean?
You gotta times it by 10.
Good, 10 by 10, good. And that means 100. And then if I were to plug that into the calculator or just using my knowledge, I know that that's 314 feet squared. Because anytime it's area, you put the square. So that's what I want you guys to type into your do now for question number 2. All you have to do is type in the 314 and then you're good. Today, the problem excavation for a pool is being done in your backyard. So excavation means that you're like, okay, so you're digging in order to make a pool. So imagine you have a backyard, which I don't, but because I live in an apartment, but I imagine a house, and let's say I had a backyard and I want them to put in a pool. So they need to do an excavation for my pool because they need to make sure so that way I can have my pool. So an excavation for a pool is being done in your backyard, and it measures 2 feet by 15 feet by 8 feet. The dirt will be taken away in the truck that holds 4.53 feet cubed. How many truckloads of dirt will be taken away? So we're trying to figure out like how much dirt are they going to take away, and then how many trucks are needed in order for you to take away that dirt. Okay. So that's something we're going to come back to. And I remember, I'll tell you when to take notes specifically because I don't want you to have to feel like you have to write all of this down. So these are 3D shapes, right? The difference between 3D shapes and a regular shape is, for example, this. This is a triangular prism. A triangle is usually just like that. The 3D shape is something like a triangular prism like this one, where it's like that. They add the 3D part. This one is a square, but then you make it a square prism, you make a 3D by adding that to it. Notice this is a rectangular prism. But notice they call it based on the base. So this is a triangle, so they call it a triangular prism. This is a square, so they call it a square prism. This is a rectangular prism. This is what's called a pentagon because it has 5 sides, pentagonal prism, and so on. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are all 3D shapes. They're called prisms. So what's a prism? A prism is different from a pyramid. A prism has 2 bases, okay? So notice this is one base, right? It's a square or kind of looks not like a square, it looks more like a parallelogram. But this is a prism with 2 bases. Notice that a pyramid only has how many bases?
1.
1 base. So that's the difference between a prism and a pyramid. A prism has 2 bases. A pyramid has 1 base. Now, when we're looking at a shape that's 3D, there are 3 parts to it. There's length. So notice the one that goes left to right is length. There's width, meaning how thick something is. And then there's height. You need to know these 3 in order to be able to solve volume. So there's length, width, and height. So this is what I do want you to write down, but you don't have to write all of it. I'll circle what you do have to write. So the volume of prisms, in order to find the volume of a prism, you multiply the area of base by the height. So I want you to write this right here, where it says volume of prisms, V equals a capital B, because notice we usually do a little b, right? We usually do a lowercase b. That means base. But when we do a capital B, that means area of base. Ooh, what does that say? Area of base.
Area base.
Yeah. So I want you to copy this. That's in the square, in the red square. So volume of prisms V equals BH, where B is equal to area of base. And I'll explain what that means as soon as you're done copying that down. And the volume. You need.
I can see 2 ways, John.
Well,
So in order to find the volume of a prism, you need to find the area of the base and then multiply that by height. So for example, let's look at this example. Well, let's look at this example right here, the triangular prism. You guys see this shape? So notice this is a triangle. You need to find its area and then you multiply by the height. The rectangular prism, you find the area of the base and then you multiply it by the height. I know that that might sound like a lot, so let me actually explain it to you on the next slide. So the volume of a rectangular prism. What shape do we see here as its base? What is the base of this shape? What is that?
Square.
Not a square, because remember, a square is like.
I mean, not a square, rectangle.
There you go. So an area of a rectangle. Do you guys remember how to find the area of a rectangle? No. Length times width.
Well, I think I remember this.
Okay, yeah, it's one of the ones that we covered maybe like 2 or 3 classes ago. But to find the area of a rectangle, you multiply length times width. So what's the length of this rectangle? How long is it?
10 centimeters.
Well, just this rectangle. So not the whole thing yet, just this.
Oh, 7 centimeters.
And then what's the other number? What's the width?
5 centimeters.
Good. 5 centimeters. So then that gives, what's 7 times 5?
35.
So that gives me the area of the rectangle. But to find the volume, you need to do, remember how we did volume is equal to BH, meaning base of area, or sorry, area of base.
That I'll help you with that.
All right,
I know, but I'll help you with that.
get this. The area of the base is 35, because we figured that out over here. And then we multiply it by the height. What number have we not used yet? We use that one, use that one, 10. So multiply it, and that equals to 350 centimeters cubed. If we're doing volume, it is a 3 that we put there, cubed. Okay. Okay, I know that this is a lot because I can tell by the speed I'm explaining it.
Hang on.
In order to find out the volume, you just go length times width times height. Okay, for this one.
Hang on, miss.
Okay.
I'm almost.
Looking at our next one. Okay, so don't write this down because it's really all we're doing is we're finding again the area of the base, and then we're multiplying it by the height. But something I realize is that you guys might not remember how to find these things. Like, this is why in your notes, make sure that let's ignore everything on here. Okay, on your paper, I want you to write this down and make sure to put it in a box, like in a big box or something, so you have this information and you can go back to it, okay? I want you to write area. How much time do we have? Okay. Area of a rectangle
There we go.
is equal to length times width. Area of square is also still, technically it's just square, still length times width, even though it'll be the same. Area of triangle is base times height divided by 2. And then which one else is important? Area of a parallelogram, of a trapezoid. This parallelogram is just is equal to base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times height. Those are the things I want you to write down and have those in your notes because that's very important as we go on and find volume. Okay, so let's just finish this one up because we are running out of time. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. All right, you guys ready? And I hope that now you know because now you have the information. So volume is equal to base of area, or area of base times height, right? So what shape is in purple?
4 centimeters and 8 centimeters.
Okay, so you have the information, but what shape is that?
Triangle.
A triangle. So right away, B means I have to find the area of a triangle. So what's the area of a triangle?
You said the area?
Mm-hmm.
4 centimeters.
So area of a triangle. So look in your little box. Which one's the area of a triangle?
Is it 8?
Well, just tell me what it says next to it. So it says area of,
Base times height divided by 2.
Oh,
okay, like that information. So base times height divided by 2. What is a, now you can tell me the numbers. What was a base of just,
it was
4 and 6. I mean 8. 4 and 8.
and that's what you had also said, Kavanta had heard you say that earlier. So 4 times 8, because again, we're doing base times height divided by 2.
6.
And then what's the height? Good, times 6, exactly. So then we know what 4 times 8 is. That is 32. And we divide that by 2. And then we multiply it by 6. For our next step, instead of trying to figure all that out, we just go 32 divided by 2. And that is 16.
Times 6. Oops. times
Right?
6.
Okay, times 6. And what does that give you?
Let's see. 96.
96. And what are my units?
Centimeters
Centimeters what?
squared.
So close. Remember, when it's area, it's squared. It's a little 2. When it's volume, it is a 3.
Oh,
So it's called cubed.
oh.
Centimeters cubed. So if we're finding area, it's squared. If we're finding volume, it is cubed. The answer should be, what was it? What did you get, Joel? What was it?
Hang on, type in the chat.
Okay.
Type in. Does it equal to
Hey, John, type in an answer.
9,000. Okay, good. That is what, let's see, where is it? 9,000.
Do you see my chat?
Yeah, I saw your chat. 9,744. And what is the unit?
Oh, it's
Feet.
cubed. Feet cubed.
Good. Feet and then cubed because it is volume. All right, and then we didn't finish it fully. Doesn't tell us how many truckloads, but that's something we'll have to come back to at a different time. All right, quickly, can you guys guess the meaning?
Pizza box.
Pizza box.
Pizza box.
That one was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was easy.
I didn't make it harder.
Mhm.
but not too hard.
I know, sometimes I make it too hard and sometimes I make them too easy. I never know a middle. All right, so make sure that today after class you do your do now, your exit ticket. If you haven't done the CFA, go ahead and do that. And then the do now for next week's class will be up on Sunday.